share your knowledge from the banking side to all our ISSM students and all the people who are gathered here. Even on the weekend, the hunger towards our knowledge is not yet reduced, and we are day by day we are getting so much influence. Leaders like you and your guidance are the most important thing. Where apart from the books and other things, these guidance and the expertise from the industry is what we are looking for, and that is how ISSM has made a huge difference. And thank you so much for your participation, sir. And we would like to thank you on behalf of our management, our chairman, sir, our director, ma'am, and Rahul, sir, and as well as on behalf of our ISSM students. And we will just give a small introduction about you and a welcome address. I have a second year MBA student of Ms. Kirtana here to give the welcome address and the guest
Sure.
introduction.
Sure. Just for information, how many of them have joined today?
100 plus people, sir.
Oh, that's good.
Thank you, sir. Yes, Kirtana.
Good morning to all. I am pleased to render the welcome speech on this beautiful occasion. First of all, I would like to invite and thank our chief guest, Mr. Sathyanarayanan Ganesh, Regional Head, Retail Banking in RBL Bank Limited. Even in his busy schedule, he wants to motivate and guide us. We welcome you, sir. I would like to take this opportunity to thank our chairman, sir, Mr. Kadir Ganapatiyappan, our director, Dr. Parthavi, and our director, sir, Mr. Rahul Ramachandran, for giving me this opportunity. I also extend my warm welcome to all who have gathered for this lecture. Thank you so much all. About the speaker, in 1995, he completed his bachelor's degree in science from Madras University, Chennai, and also completed management degree in Madras University in 1998. Over his professional background, he having 18 years of banking experience and presently working as a regional head branch and BIS Banking South Goa based RBL Bank's South Zonal Office in Chennai. Prior joining in RBL Bank, he worked and spent over a decade with top banks and companies, which are in Airtel, he worked for 4 years in Chennai, around for 4 years. And in ICSA Bank, he worked for 2 years as retail branch banking. In HDFC Bank as a vice president in Chennai and Telangana branch. In RBL, he worked as a executive vice president, regional head in South and Goa for 6 years. His career not ends with professional line alone and also continue as a leader for business change, growth, and performance improvement. Senior executive with 20 plus years of experience includes a leadership experience and full charge authority for the region. His driving force for repeatedly taking organization to the next level of growth and success. He also a strategic thinker, navigating complex situation and also identifying opportunities for improvement. As a member of bank's executive team, he executed major change initiatives and the restructuring of vertical in the past, including implementation of new ideas, organizational redesign, process re-engineering, and more. At last, he established an effective leadership with direct reports, cross functions, and senior management. Thank you, sir.
Thank
We
you.
welcome you once again, sir.
Thank you, Kirtana. Thank you so much, sir. The vast experience of yours will definitely guide us, motivate us, and will make us to understand about the thick and thin of the banking industry. And over to you, sir.
So thank you, Kirtana, for that wonderful introduction.
Thank
Firstly,
you,
yes, thank you, my friend, Mr. Kadir, Chairman of ISSM, and Director Dr. Parthavi, for inviting me to the session. Thank you very much. And Ranjit for the wonderful coordination, made it very simple. And thank you for that. And I also would like to thank my organization for all the learning that I've acquired over a period of time. And thanks to my gurus and mentors for all the knowledge that I've acquired from them. Good. So it's always a pleasure to meet the students, because among all the other interactions that I have in work with clients, I always enjoy the most when I meet students for various reasons. One, because you guys are the future, and it's important that for me, when I meet students, it's always a great learning for me. All other interactions are more formal and with a purpose, but here it's an open organization because you guys come with a lot of thought process, which is new. And when you ask such questions, obviously it kindles certain learning for me. So that way, it is a very, very important and interesting thing for me to address students whenever I meet. It's more of sharing knowledge. It's also first time for me, apart from my business interactions, I'm doing an address over a virtual platform to students while we attend business meetings, various business reviews and other, forums. But this is the first time I'm addressing a student forum over a virtual platform. Again, we have to get used to it. This is the new normal, as all of us are getting used to it. In a way, thanks to COVID, but not that we would want this to happen. Because I've addressed, in a couple of IIMs and, MBA schools like Liba and Pondicherry University, which is a physical gathering in auditorium where I enjoy meeting people and, a lot of to and fro questions being asked, and it used to be a lot of fun. But anyway, given the situation, we have to get going on this. So that's something new. That's a learning all of us are having these days. As I said, it's always pleasure to meet the students, because as I feel students are the future. And if I have to be active and being looked at in terms of the future, I have to understand this community very well. So again, pleasure meeting you all. And more importantly, if I have to correlate to the topic which I'm going to speak today, you guys are the future disruptors. When I say disruptors, large part of you will be as part of the beneficiary or a consumer of the disruption that's going to happen in future, because it's inevitable. Unfortunately, we don't have a choice, but these disruptions largely in a digital format, thanks to the technology which is ever evolving. So these disruptions will happen across, and this community which I'm addressing will be the beneficiaries and consumers of all these disruptions that's going to happen in future. When I say consumers and beneficiaries, there'll be some of you and many of you will also be part of the disruptions that will get created, which means many of you will be part of the products or services that will be created, which will create that disruption. So in a way, I'm today talking to people who are going to be part of the future disrupted community. So it's an opportunity for me to energize and learn and align myself for the future. So I would like to quote, in fact, a month back, few months back, I was watching an interview in a television channel of somebody was interviewing Mukesh Ambani. I hope all of you know Mukesh Ambani. He doesn't need any introduction. Has a large empire of business across various areas. And as all of you know, that he's been growing up the ranks in terms of being the richest person in the world. Okay, well, there are various comments in terms of how business is done. I'm not getting into that, but on paper, he's certainly a large businessman. So when he was asked, okay, and you know that, how he's been able to get valuations for his company, get investors for a not so profitable company in terms of billions of dollars, right? So he was asked a question as to, you have done most of it in your life. You've earned money. You've grown your business multiple X. You've done what not others have done. Okay, you've started from scratch on many business. Yes, some of them you inherited from your father. Now, what more? And what is your learning? Because how do you update yourself? What is your learning? Where do you learn from? And how do you allocate time for that? So it was very interesting to note that he was saying, while yes, I do my business reviews and all those things, in a week, at least 4 to 5 hours, he spends time with his son's friends and people of that age. He says that is where his learning happens. He says it is that generation now, this millennial generation, the students and the next generation, which is going to emerge as future, is where we have to learn from, because they are coming from a different mindset. Their thought process is different. Their ideas are different. And it is important for me to learn from them, because if at all I have to do anything in future, I'll be addressing them. So it's very, very important for me to make sure that I address their needs and requirements and the way they look at it. So it's only reiterates my saying that I said initially, that this is an important community that I'm talking to. So what we're going to talk today is, about the digital disruption. This is something famous. My interest as well in the banking financial world. Okay, disruption is happening everywhere, but I will throw some light on what's it for the financial world, banking industry. So all that I'm going to speak is nothing new. Not that I've thought and I've identified something. It's all in the public domain. All of us are, user of banking financial service. So that way we are also got adapted to this. But what I'm going to say is some of my perspective as to what is happening, how the banking system has evolved over a period of time, how technology as an enabler has pushed that to the next level. And as the journey continues, what are the disruptions that has happened, and what is it looking like in near future? And you as a student community, if at all you're getting into financial services, what is it in store for you? So that is something which I thought I'll share in this session. So before we get into this specific into the disruption in the financial world, I would like to understand or share or to hear from you, what do you all think is disruption? Is it possible, Ranjit, to hear from some of them?
Yes, sir. The students are ready. They'll be interacting with you, sir. Students, you can talk without even opening a camera, or with camera you can speak, and it can be an interactive session, so you can talk.
So anybody wants to say what according to is disruption? There's nothing right or wrong. It's your view.
Hi sir, this is Shweta Bhattacharya sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, in my view, disruption is means a change that occurs when new technologies and the business models affect the value proposition of existing goods and value services. Sir.
Wow, true theoretical definition. Wonderful. Anybody else?
Thank you, sir.
So it is a problem which interrupts.
Can't hear you properly. Anybody else?
It is a problem or disturbance which interrupts an event or activity, sir.
So which means the earlier call was a disruption. There was a problem. Yeah, that was on the lighter side. Anyway. Anybody else? Okay, we are on a virtual platform. It's difficult for us to hear from everybody. Okay, unlike a physical session. Okay, so I would like to keep this session very lively, interesting, very, very simple thoughts. Okay, don't complicate, because I am a person who can't complicate things. I don't understand complex stuff. I try to keep it simple. I understand simple things, and I want to put it across in a simple way. Okay, disruption according to me is, as somebody said, yes, there's something which, an event or something which completely changes the way of life going forward, right? Obviously driven by technology. Technology is always the enabler, and today all the disruptions we are talking about is in terms of driven through the technology, which is largely the digital technology. So something which completely changes the way we do, and we quickly adapt that. So disruption doesn't mean that something comes in new and that becomes the way of life. Obviously it will take some time to settle in, but it also makes it so easy for the user, consumer to adapt it so fast. Okay, that to me is disruption. Okay, there are many disruptions. In fact, as we speak, I don't know if we can call COVID as a disruption, and disruption in the environment that has created for us to change the way of life. Today we have changed our way of life. Today all of us are on virtual platforms. There are a lot of things which happens. For example, natural calamities happen, but those are temporary. For example, we had floods, we had cyclones. Those are temporary. We adapt to change, but we get back to our old days. But in a way, I would say COVID has created some disruption in our way of life, right? We've gone into digital way. I'm sure we've also learned from this and probably continue this going forward. Not 100%, but at least largely we will continue this because we have kind of adapted to this in current times and obviously found things useful and convenient for us. And our lifestyle, we have found a lot of things which is working out for us. We have suddenly become very hygiene conscious. Okay, we sanitize our hands. Okay, and somewhere this fear will be there, and we will probably make it as a regular routine, even if vaccine is found for COVID. So having said that, disruption, as I said, is something which suddenly comes in, completely changes the way of life, and that becomes the way forward. And the adoption of people, consumers, is pretty fast. That it changes the way we do things. For example, can anybody say or think of any disruption that has happened in the telecommunication, the communication field? Is there anybody? A simple disruption that happened in the way we communicate? Anybody wants to share? Okay, so there's a difficulty in unmuting and speaking. Let me say, is WhatsApp not a big disruption in the communication industry? Of course, technology will evolve. For example, we had mobile phones, then it got upgraded to the smartphones, and thereby a lot of things happened. But WhatsApp was a complete disruption in the way we communicate, right? All of us had mobile phones earlier, whatever, 5, 6, 7 years back till WhatsApp came. We were making calls, we were using internet through phones at some point in time, and we were sending SMSs. Then the MMS came, probably didn't take off because of a lot of challenges in that. But suddenly we found a set of people, an Ukrainian migrant, with a set of 30, 40 people who came in and came with a concept, something called WhatsApp. And in no time, it got adapted so much, it created a complete disruption. And a lot of things got changed into WhatsApp. I'm sure all of you know today, in fact, I keep saying my team also, there's nobody in this world without WhatsApp. I mean, I'm largely saying people use mobile phones, which is a large percentage, 90-95%, except for the very, very remote rural and tribal areas, people don't use mobile phones. I mean, the WhatsApp. Of course, the mobile penetration is much higher, but the WhatsApp, I'm saying, it has completely changed the way we do things, right? A lot of messaging happens, a lot of pictures are getting shared. A lot of important information across the globe gets shared. It's one-to-one, many-to-many, a lot of time saved. A lot of businesses happen through WhatsApp, and thereby WhatsApp has introduced something called business WhatsApp. And especially during the COVID times, most business deals happen through WhatsApp. In fact, I was telling somebody, there's a shop which is, I wanted to buy some shoes. There's a shop which sends me pictures of shoes and says what size, and you select, we'll come and deliver you at home. It completely changed. There are requirements which is posted in a group and immediately it's addressed. It saves a lot of time. It connects people. The information is spread across so fast. And most importantly, people adapted it so well. And that became the new way forward, right? And also it has connected the world. It saved a lot of time. Suddenly we realize we get to speak to our, old school friends. There are preschool groups, middle school groups, higher school groups, college groups, your earlier organizational groups, and many, many groups, family groups, husband side groups, wife side groups. There are so many WhatsApp groups getting formed. And then today that's become a way of life. A lot of things are getting organized through WhatsApp, right? Today we're doing a virtual platform, and all the link for connecting to that is sent through WhatsApp. So that really transformed in the telecommunication, and things became that way. Let's look at some other industry, right? Look at the travel industry. I'm just quoting some examples. We used to book tickets going to railway station, going to the airports, or we used to call the airline and book ticket. Then it became the travel agents who were booking tickets. Then happened the disruption through the e-commerce of Make My Trips and Yatras of the world, who completely came and disrupted. Again, the leveraging thing was technology available. And today, click of a button, you get to see various flights, various pricing, which competitive price, various times, what time, what is the connecting flight, and the entire ecosystem is created. It's not only flight, you book for the hotel where you land, you book for the cab there, and the entire thing is made so easy, and that became the way of life. Today, as you travel, sitting in a car, traveling somewhere, you can book your tickets and go. So that has become the way of life. So every segment, every sector, if you take, there's been disruption, and it will continue to happen, which will make our life much easier. And the benefits are in terms of whatever cost reduction will get passed on to the end consumer. So when I say disruption, it is in no negative sense. It's going to make our life easier, and it's going to become more positive and beneficial for the consumers. Look at food industry. Okay, we were going to restaurants. We were ordering food then from the restaurants, which got delivered. And today, we have aggregators who have come in. Thanks to Swiggy, Zomato, you sit at home and order food. And you can order food from various restaurants. You have choices. You have offers coming in from restaurants. And it's all win-win for everybody. I'm at a comfort of sitting at home and ordering, idli at one place, sambar in another restaurant, and things like that. And for the restaurant, there's an increase in business. And there's a middleman, Swiggy, who is also making his own cut. And thereby, they build on valuations, which is another topic which we can address it later. So there's been a disruption there. You look at the transport. We used to book cabs through rental cabs, through travel. Cab operators. Thanks to Ola, Uber. Again, Ola and Uber are, not car owners. They're just a technology company leveraged on the GPS available technology and put in systems in place. And India has large data, so they accumulated data and put in some intelligence in terms of, making the cab available for you at anywhere, anytime. And all you have to do is just click of a button, you get a cab, get in and get dropped. And again, could, engage all the other service providers like wallets and other payment service company for making your payments easy. So there again, there's a disruption, right? And today, all these are technology companies. And, the kind of leverage they do on the data, which is another topic, but if I have to touch upon, there's a lot of data available in India. In India being a large country, fortunately or unfortunately, wherever we go, we've been asked for our details. And how many times you go, we've been asked for details for no reason, which we thought it's bad. But today, that is really helping us for large data being available. And to handle the data, we have enough artificial intelligence that's been put in. And that is really helping. And when I say that, today I'm a user of Uber. I use Uber whenever I travel and I go to airport. Maybe currently, yes, due to COVID, but otherwise I travel frequently. And every time I travel to airport, I take Uber. And today Uber has my data. And so it's intelligent that if I don't use Uber for a month, I get a direct message from Uber saying that take a cab to airport at $80. So they know I'm traveling. And straight there's a targeted direct offer to me saying that this is your offer. So that kind of data available, that kind of information available, there are cabs available, it's all aggregation, and that is a big disruption in the transport side. So I can go on and on in every segment that disruption. So today we are here to understand what are the kind of disruptions that has happened in the financial world and how is it transforming our life and what is it happening in the industry. So Ranjit, if you can get into a small presentation which I had. In fact, I made it to another institution some time back. I thought it's still relevant and we can use that to share my thoughts on the disruption side, on the banking side.
Yes, sir.
So you can move on to the second slide. Will everybody able to see that? Okay. So to me, in this era of disruption, which is going to happen across all sectors, so our life is going to be, in terms of expecting the new changes that's happening, which is going to be only beneficial for all of us. So it's not the strongest. It's a very famous and my favorite quote of Charles Darwin. It's not the strongest or the most intelligent that will survive. It's the one which is most adaptable to change. Okay, so all of us have to be ready and welcoming the change that's going to happen, and we have to embrace that.